Hey, what's up guys, my name's Brad, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another Duel Links, welcome back to another Duel Links Dark Side Dimensions discussion video. Today, we're going to do a pretty quick, breakdown of the Cubic Archetype. This is all the cards in the Dark Side Dimensions movie pack and movie pack special edition. This isn't including anything that hasn't released in the TCG yet. There are some new cards in the OCG that have come out, but we won't see them in Duel Links until, they come in a TCG, which could be next year sometime. So, I'm going to focus on the cards that potentially could come to Duel Links with Aigami, with Sarah, and the deck itself is really interesting. It's a really cool little unique mechanic, and I don't know how good it will be in Duel Links, so I feel like it might be pretty decent. So we're going to start off with the monsters, go through all them, and then kind of lead into the spell and traps. There's some pretty cool combos you can do, and let me know your thoughts on the Cubic deck, if you like it, if you don't like it, if you're excited to see what Aigami and Sarah bring to the game when Dark Side World does come, let me know down below. Anyway, let's get right into it. So first up we have Vijam the Cubic Seed. This is your main normal summon of the deck, or one of them at least. It can't be destroyed by battle, and it's core to the overall strategy since most of the other Cubic monsters are dependent on special summoning multiple copies of itself in order to fuel their special summons, so it's very, very important. And after this guy's battles, you can place it in your spell and trap card zone to place a Cubic counter on your opponent's monsters, and any monster with a Cubic counter can't attack and have their effects negated, so that's really, really strong, especially if, like, say, you're against a Samurai player, they summon a Shien. I know we use Shien quite a lot as an example, even though it's not the most meta-relevant thing right now. They won't be able to negate your spell and trap cards, which is pretty nice, and then next turn you can resummon Vijam as a monster, and then rinse and repeat that effect, so really, really nice, kind of like a Crystal Beast that special summons itself back out, so very, very cool. Then we start off with the first kind of lineup of Cubic monsters. There's multiple lineups in the actual Cubic deck. We have the Cubic Beasts. So first up is level 2 Dark Garnex, must be special summoned by using 1 Cubic on your field, and on summon, it gains 1000 attack points. Then, when it destroys a monster by battle, you contribute it to bring up to 2 Vijams from your graveyard back out to your field, and then search your deck for a Blade Garuda. So the whole point of this deck is to really keep searching out for the upgraded forms, and then next turn go into the upgraded forms. In the movie, it seemed like Aigami did this in the same turn because of the way Dimension Dueling worked. But in the TCG and Duel Links, this will work a little bit differently. You're kind of always going to attack and then get your Vijams out and kind of sit on them. And because Vijams themselves, they can't be destroyed by battle, so your opponent has to have some form of removal, which of course in Duel Links we have quite a bit now with some new boss monsters. So yeah. Also my voice is now going, so yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? That's great. So next up we have Blade Garuda. This one is surprisingly level 3 and must be special summoned by using 2 Cubics on your field, and on summon it gains 2000 attack points, so you can start to see a theme kind of progressing here. Now, Garuda is a bit different in that you can make up to 2 attacks per battle, which is pretty crazy, and then when it destroys a monster you can trade it in, this time for 3 copies of Vijam, and search your deck for a Buster Gundil. Now, Buster Gundil is a Cubic Behemoth, he's part of the Beast lineup, he's the ultimate form of the Beasts, and he's level 4, and personally this is a hard nope for him coming to Duel Links because, first of all, it must be special summoned by having 3 Cubics on your field, so you use all 3 Vijams, summon him out. And on summon his attack becomes 3000. Now that's not the issue. The issue is that he can attack up to 3 times per turn, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Now Gundil has a bit of a different searching effect compared to the other two because his triggers when he is destroyed, that's by battle or by your opponent's card effect, not when he destroys a monster. And when he is, you can summon back any 3 Cubic monsters in your graveyard and then search your deck or your graveyard for any Cubic card, be it a monster, spell, or trap, and add it to your hand. There's some really good targets in the game, so that's going to be a very useful little thing you're going to want to get up to your level 4, your big Cubic Behemoth, and get your search off. It's going to be really beneficial for the deck. But that's where the Cubic Behemoths kind of, or the Beasts at least, kind of end. We then have the Cubic Kings, which go in a completely different direction from the Beasts. So back down to level 2, we have Garuda the Cubic King, must be special summoned by using 1 Cubic on your field. If you do, it gains 800 attack points, but on summon, it also burns your opponent for 800, which is where this whole archetype kind of differs. So this one is more burn based, the other one's more battle based. And again, if this card battles, you can attribute it to bring back 2 Vijam to your field and then search your deck for Vulcan Dragony, so it does share some similarities, but also some differences. Then of course we have Vulcan Dragony the Cubic King. This is our level 3, must be special summoned using 2 Cubics, and on summon it gains 1600 attack points, but it still does just do the 800 damage, which I think is kind of fair. If it did 1600, that'd be pretty ridiculous because by the time you get to the third version, you would have OTK'd your opponent, so, or you would have burned your opponent to death, sorry. So, yeah, and again, if this card battles, you contribute it to bring back 3 V-Charms, and then search your deck for an Endura Doom Vault. And Endura Doom Vault is the Cubic Emperor. This is going to be Aigami's ace monster most likely, and must be special summoned using 3 Cubics on your field non-summon. Its attack points become 2400, and of course, it does the 800 points of damage to your opponent. So, just like Buster Gun Deal, Endura's effect triggers when he's destroyed, getting you once again any 3 Cube monsters from your graveyard back onto your field, and adding any Cubic card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So they both have the same searching effect, and that's where those two kind of lines differentiate. The beasts focus on battle, the emperors and the kings, they focused on burn damage. So both very usable strategies. I feel like the burn damage one is a little bit stronger, but obviously the Cube Behemoth is pretty ridiculous. And then we have the big boys, the Cubic Lords, and these are two that I feel like shouldn't come to Duel Links. I feel like Konami might put one of them in, but yeah, let me know what you think. We have Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord. This guy is pretty nuts. He has 3000 attack points and can't be normal summoned, but must be special summoned by revealing 3 other Cubic cards with different names in your hand. So don't need to attribute anything on your field, just reveal 3 and summon it, and that includes spells and traps, which makes it even better. Now, he has 3000 attack of course, but he's also unaffected by other monsters' activated effects with equal to or less than 3000 attack points. So that's a very, very good chunk of today's boss monsters. Kind of ridiculous. And when it destroys a monster in battle, it can attack again, and then during your end phase, both players take 3000 points of damage. This is why I think we won't see it, just because of that 3000 burn. It's mandatory, it's pretty ridiculous, and it will result in way too many draws on the ladder, especially since most people probably won't be running those extra life point boost skills. They'll be running, you know, beat down or a form of consistency boosting skill. So yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. But then you get to the fusion and things get even more ridiculous. You have Crimson Nova Trinity, the Dark Cubic Lord, 4500 attack points, 3000 defense points, requires 3 copies of Crimson Nova to even summon it, and it must be fusion summoned. It can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effect, and whenever it attacks, which it can do up to twice per turn, it halves your opponent's life points, which is ridiculous. And if you ever take effect damage, your opponent also takes that damage as well. So this card alone, despite being quite hard to summon, it doesn't sound healthy at all for Duel Links. Though of course we did talk about the life point boost skills, which, you know, might lessen the effect of these burn-oriented cards. But still, I don't think we'll see this outside of, say, a really convoluted skill, which would be quite interesting to see how they pull it off, honestly. And maybe like in an Aigami AI event, NPC event or whatever, this would be like a big bad monster you go against. That could be kind of interesting. And finally for the monsters, we have the only monster not used by Aigami and used by Sarah or Prana in the Transcend game manga, which we talked about in a video last week. We have Duza, the Meteor Cubic Vessel. This is probably the best card Cubics have. It's a level 4 with 1600 attack and defense, and it's the only other normal summon of the deck. If it's normal special summon, you can foolish 1 Cubic card from your deck, which is really powerful because either A, you set up your graveyard with more copies of V-Charm to use with the Cubic Beasts or Kings to fuel their special summons, or B, you put 1 of 3 very powerful spell trap cards into the graveyard to use their banish effects, so that's kind of ridiculous. Additionally, if a monster is sent to your graveyard during either player's turn, you can make this card gain 200 attack points for every monster with a different name in your graveyard until the end phase, which happens quite a lot during your turns because of the Cubic Kings and the Cubic Beasts. You know, after battle, they will then tag out and summon back monsters, so you can get some pretty good attack point gain there, and then, you know, get an attack in with your Duza and hopefully hit some game or something, I don't know. But yeah, either giving more attack power or more staying power during your opponent's turn. Really, really nice card, and definitely, you know, if this is Sarah's ace, which we think it's going to be, then we might be able to get 3 of these. And if you get 3 of them, then it's definitely a hard 3 in the deck. This is the best card the deck has. Now let's talk about those 3 spell and trap cards before we go on to the other ones, because these are all really, really cool. We have Cubic Karma. When it's activated, you can target a Cubic you control, then send a number of V-Charms from your hand or deck to the graveyard to give it 800 extra attack points for each one, which is ridiculous because not only making your monster stronger, but also setting up for later when it's destroyed or when you destroy a monster with it, more V-Charms in your graveyard to bring them back to go into further Cubic summons. So that's just really good in general. Then during your opponent's turn, if a V-Charm is special summoned by the effect of a Cubic monster, you can send this card to the graveyard to halve your opponent's life points. So again, more burn damage. That's really, really cool. And then, the Duza part is you can banish this from your graveyard to search your deck for another Cubic monster. So with Duza, it's just an insane amount of deck thinning possible, which is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, Cubic Karma, one of those cards, is going to be very, very useful. Even if we just get one of them in combination with Duza, it's a very, very good card. Then we have Cubic Wave, another spell card that on paper at least sounds like it has a bit of a ridiculous effect, but in reality, due to the number of spell or targeting negating cards, it might not be so prevalent. So you can target one Cubic you control and one monster your opponent does, and then double your monster's attack points and halve your opponent's, which is kind of crazy. And of course in the movie this didn't really matter much because your opponent would only have taken the weakened monster's attack points, but in Duel Links this could in certain situations prove to be super strong despite me saying it might not be that good. Who knows how good this card could really be. Now, the Duza part is you banish this and any number of Cubic monsters from your graveyard to target monsters your opponent controls and put Cubic counters on them, which we know just with V-Jump will stop them from attacking and negating any of their effects, which can restall for some time or render an entire strategy of your opponents completely useless. Say they just spam the board out with Blue Eyes or Six Samurai or something like that. Then they're kind of screwed if all their monsters just go down and can't attack. You then have free reign to do what you really want, which is really, really nice. And then the final one is Unification of the Cubic Lords. This is the big boy trap card you can use to fusion summon Crimson Nova Trinity, so you don't need to use Polymerization. If a Cubic you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field, you can banish this to special summon a level 4 lower Cubic from your hand or deck, ignoring the summoning conditions, and best of all, it can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects. Now, what this means is you can summon things like Buster Gun Deal, like Endura Doom Vault, without having to go through the whole Tribute 3 monsters thing, but of course they won't be summoned with their attack points or their ability to inflict burn damage in the case of Endura, because they need to be summoned from the hand in that specific way to get those off. So you're just getting a Cubic on board, and that's what you're kind of doing. So Unification, you could summon your Duza, send Unification to the graveyard, then use Unification to bring back another Duza, special summon it, and there you go, you've got two Duzas on board. And you can go for a rank 4 Xyz if you had Xyz or something. But yeah, like there's a lot of plays you can do with Unification. And then we have two more traps left. Again, I'm not going to talk about the OCG exclusive ones, just the TCG cards, because that's the only ones we'll be like guaranteed to kind of get or see in Duel Links, at least from the start. We have Cubic Mandala. This one special summons any number of monsters in your opponent's graveyard that were destroyed this turn, but places counters on them and makes their attack point 0. So it makes them completely useless and negates any monster's effects that activate while they're on the field, while they have a copy of one of those special summon monsters. So let's say they got rid of two of them and had one on field and they wanted to, like, you know, summon a Cosmo Brain and use its effect. They wouldn't be able to because they can't activate it because they still have that monster on the field. So yeah, Mandala could see some kind of play, but it's again very dependent on a lot of things being destroyed on your opponent's side of the field. So not too big of a fan of that card. Then we have Cubic Rebirth, and this is super situational because it does rely on your opponent declaring a direct attack, which might happen quite often, might not. I mean, with Cubics, if you've got V-Jumps on your field, you're kind of not really going to be getting direct attacked, I feel like. So you force them to special summon as many monsters with the same name as the monster declaring the attack from their deck, hand, or graveyard, and they all have 0 attack and cannot attack and have their effects negated, so they get Cubic counters on them and get their attack changed to 0. Then, if you put a Cubic counter on one of those monsters, you can summon a level 4 or lower Cubic from your hand, ignoring your summoning conditions. So again, Unification, you get to bring out Endura, Buster Gundil, or summon out your Duza, get your Search off, get your Foolish off, whatever. And yeah, that's my little roundup of the Cubic cards. Maybe not the best explanation of them. Of course, I'll have all of them on screen so you can read the entire card text, but basically, V-Jump is very important, Duza is very important, the 3 spell cards I talk about, those are very important as well. If we get any of those, then the deck might be able to do something, and of course, any of the burn ones are quite cool, and if we for some reason get Buster Gundil, then the deck might be pretty cool. So yeah, let me know down below what you think of the Cubic cards, and we're quite close to Dark Side Dimensions World, so yeah, that should be pretty cool. Over the next couple of weeks, we should be seeing a ton of new information about that, so yeah. Thanks for watching, I'll see you all in the next Duel Links video. See you then.